Hi friends, it's Miss J again. I know I ended my last video with the wrong chart, so I wanted to come back to the story really quick, and I want to ask you a few questions about Oscar and the frog. So when Miss J asks you questions about the story, it's to help you understand the story and to become a really good reader, because readers don't just read the words, they have to read the words and they have to understand the story. So I'm going to ask you some questions about the story. I'm going to pause just for a second, give you some time to think, and then you try to come up with the answer. But then I'm going to go over the answer too, so we can make sure that you are learning the right information, okay? So we read this story, Oscar and the Frog. I showed you all the pictures up nice and close. And so I'm going to start on page 4 and 5. And on page 4 and 5 were these pictures right here. This is where the frog was telling Oscar about how he became, or how he started as an egg and then became a tadpole, started growing legs, started growing arms, and then he became a frog. Okay, so the pictures on these pages show you what the story is mostly about. This is a tadpole turning into a frog. Okay. So the pictures show us what the words are explaining to us. So we need the words and the pictures to help us understand the story. Okay? So what were these things called again? Did you say eggs? Good job. Those eggs are what they start out as, right? And what is the tadpole eating in this picture? Do you remember? What was that called? I'll give you a hint. It started with pond weed, I think it is. Yeah, that was what the word was. Pondweed. That's what they like to eat. So the story was explaining the picture by telling you that I was hungry for pondweed. Let's look at another picture. Okay, and then the frog, or the tadpole, is turning into the frog, and each of these pictures told you some words that described exactly what's happening in the story. Okay, so I'm going to go to another page now, and I'm going to ask you to think about something, okay? Here's the very next page, page 6 and 7. Let me give you a good look again. Okay, remember some of these things. Okay, do you remember what was happening? And then this. Okay, so what do the words and pictures on these pages explain? Think about it. Look again. What were the words and pictures on these two pages telling you about? Did you think about it and remember that on these pages it was telling about animals that lay eggs underwater? All of these animals laid eggs underwater. So down here was the snail. Remember? Laid eggs in kind of like a jelly. And the dragonfly laid it just under the water on the stem. And the perch wrapped his eggs in like a thread around some plants. Okay. What are some other things you see under the water? Did you say fish? Plants. There's lots of plants underwater. Dragonfly eggs. Maybe you said you saw some fish eggs over here. How about on this page? What do you see underwater? Maybe you said a snail eggs. There are a lot of things under there. Okay. And then which words tell us where these animals lay their eggs? What did they say about the dragonfly? Where did they say the dragonfly lays her eggs? Listen to the words. Dragonflies often lay their eggs on plant stem just below the water. So what were the words that the author used to tell you where the dragonfly lays their eggs? He said the plant stem. Listen to the one about perch. Fish lay lots of eggs, The perch winds hers in long threads around plants, twigs, or stones. So what were the words that the author used to tell you how the perch laid her eggs? Did you say that she laid them in threads around plants, twigs, or stones? If you did, you were right. Friends, great job. Remember, when we are reading a story, it's important to understand the words and be able to figure out how those words are telling you part of the story, okay? We call that citing text evidence. So Miss J was going back to the text, which is the book, and looking for the evidence or the words that tell us all we need to know about the story, and not we have to use pictures and words. That makes us really smart. Okay, I hope you enjoyed those questions.